Hey, this is AunTeaFee about them facts. How you doing? Ooh, I had to take a nap. Who takes a nap at 7 o'clock? Baby, I was tired. Come on in. We gotta talk about it. Ooh wee, baby. The tea is brewing. The tea is brewing. Hey, Leisha. The tea is a brewing. God dang it. Yes, indeed. I knew it was something about what. Hey, Shelly, Shell. Oh, you saw them men. Look at Shelly. Shell, you, I missed you the other day. I found the other cat, Flash. He on one of them other ones. Hey, oh my God. I was knocked out here. I was so tired. Oh, I was so tired. AunTeaFee, you was tired of Diddy. I was tired of Diddy. Little bitty. Oh yeah, you missed it. I went back and found it, played it. Not yesterday, so it must have been the day before yesterday. Did I even put his name in the comments? Flashlight. I even caught it when old boy asked him to stand up and he flashed his abs. Did I have? Let me see something. Let me see if I did you a favor, Shell. Did I snap him on here? Oh dang! I may have him. Oh, Shelly, Shell. Girl, you know your AunTeaFee. There you go, Shelly. How about that background? How about that one? That's Flash. Ooh, yeah. Hello. I did that just for you. Just for you. There go Flash, but how about them abs? No, I don't like that picture. Let's go back to the abstract art. That's art. Yeah. Well, baby, we got time tonight. I done took a nap. I got a couple of hours to go, baby. My attitude, disposition may have been too bad for it earlier. I was tired. Oh yeah, it was good too. It was good. Yes, ma'am. Good. But it's some new ones. Y'all come on in. This one right here. We got some new lawsuits going on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, not boys and girls. The devil is a lie. Introducing Johnny, coming to the stage on the pole and stroll. We have Johnny. Johnny. Hey, Johnny. We gonna talk about it. He got 2 new. He's sexy too. Yes, indeed, Haunty. Yes, indeed. I was trying to catch them abs. He got two new, him and Cassie got 2 new lawsuits. 2 new lawsuits. Johnny, well, his name is Edmund Laurent, a.k.a. Johnny. And we got Clayton Howard, a.k.a. Dave, on the stroll in the pole. Work that, work that. Not take that, take that. They work that, work that. Yep. 2 new lawsuits. They done got STDs, ABCs, trick, all type of shit. Y'all come on in. Woo, I'm waiting for the Miami. Let me go and play that while I'm getting folk to come on in. It's that Miami. Miami is coming. I was telling somebody earlier today on the live, it's just funny to me how they intentionally have left off Miami. They talked about California, and they talked about California and New York. Hey, Purple Flower. But they made no mention of Miami. Star Island. Private island. Yeah, you got to go through a guard before you can get to the neighborhood on water. Yes, and hey, sweet babe. How you doing? I ain't seen you in a minute, sweet precious. Hey. Oh, you want me to go back to the eye candy? Okay, I go back to the eye candy. Which one you like? Abs, facing. Oh, I don't know. We're going to be talking about him tonight at some point. This one right here. This one right here. This one right here. But the other cat, yeah, he the one that has a story. Flashlight, flash. He the one that got the dirt and the tea. The dirt and the tea. It was terminated for what? You don't know. Did you appeal it? Did you appeal it? Shelly said right there. Don't move. Don't move. Yeah, appeal it. Cause somebody may have flagged it, or appeal it and let them tell you why. Cause they normally will send you an email to tell you why it was terminated. You was a day late and an ab short. And he was talking mad shit too. He was the one that said Diddy was going ham. He said Diddy got trap doors. He went out one way. Next thing you know, he was standing over his shoulder, beating his meat again, going ham. I think I got it in the comment, in the title. I think I put John Henry hand. Something like that. You know AunTeaFee ain't rap too tight. Woo! Yeah, he had the strong hand. He said he got a trap door. You better watch that, man. You go out one door. Did you say mine? Oh, shit, I told you I done took a nap. Ain't no telling what come out my mouth. I done got me some sleep. Only reason I got up is because I started getting hungry. Was it this one with the is it that one with him and R. Kelly in that orange? Or the one that has verdict? It was one of them two. Because it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. What did I put in the title? Unanimous. Yeah, you missed it. I found it. And I played it. Yeah, so listen, I want y'all to hear something, cause that Miami, I think they cooking up. I think they brewing. I think they brewing some tea. Cause it's a particular reason. We just ain't figured it out yet. Why are they not talking about that Miami?
Looks great.
Raid.
Oh.
Star Island.
I mean, there's a lot of speculation.
Star Island. Because that is where all of the celebrities and all of that will go down. The rabbit hole. That's where all the little live entertainment, I don't want to say minors, but all the celebrity, where is that thing at? Activity. Will be at. Yeah, I don't took a nap and can't find none. Ain't that crazy? Did I leave that in there? Y'all want me to leave that eye candy right there? Oh, it was a raid. Oh yeah, when they did those raids, they did three locations: Miami, New York, Miami, and California. So hold on while I'm looking for my device to hold it up.
May have kept on tape. And I think you've talked about the fact a lot of these guys like to keep trophies, memorabilia, sort of absolutely souvenirs of their depravity, if you like. Just tell me about that briefly. I mean, was that
can y'all hear?
Brandi for the freak offs and everything?
Oh, I'm cool with it.
What I'll say is, throughout my career path,
can y'all hear him? I gotta go find my device.
And in that phone, you'll see a list of trophies. And when it was announced that he had CCTV film cameras in the house, and when the Homeland Security did the initial raid, they didn't inform the raiding officers whose home they were raiding, because they had information that he might have been protected. And, part of Epstein's thing was to get people in precarious situations, and then you have this footage that you can use against them to be able to have your way with champions of industry and able to control policy. He does the same thing. So, if you want to be able to seal a big deal and there's a guy likes to party, it's easy to set that up. You send a guy a screenshot like, yeah, man, you had such a good time with those two underage girls yesterday, man. You remember this video right here? That person is going to have some incentive to help you out in what you need them to do. It's the same. We've seen this over and over.
Imagine this. It's a sunny afternoon in March of 2024, and federal agents in black tactical gear are swarming Sean Diddy Combs' Miami mansion like ants on a picnic. They're not just poking around. They're ripping through his Star Island estate, grabbing hard drives, flipping couches, and hauling off boxes. The same scenes happening at his LA pad. News breaks. Diddy, the guy who built a hip-hop empire, is under fire for sex trafficking and racketeering. But hold up. Something doesn't add up. Whispers start spreading that this raid wasn't about cuffing Diddy. It was about snatching tapes. Tapes that allegedly show powerful people, politicians, celebs, maybe even princes, caught in wild compromising moments at Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. Sound like a movie? Well, it's not. It's giving Jeffrey Epstein 2.0, and the plot thickens. In this video, we're diving into the dark theory that Diddy's been a federal informant for years, that his 2025 trial with a stage show, and that he's been dodging crimes for decades thanks to deep state connections. We're leaning into every part of this investigation, thanks to Whitney Webb's work that has unpacked how blackmail tapes might be the key to it all. What did the feds really raid his homes for? And what do those tapes actually show? Buckle up, because today's story is a roller coaster, and I'm not holding back. So let's rewind back again to March 25th, 2024. Homeland Security Investigations doesn't mess around. They roll up to Diddy's Miami and Los Angeles mansions with armored trucks and boats like they're filming a Michael Bay movie. The official story? They're investigating Diddy for sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution-related charges, sparked by lawsuits piling up since Cassie's lawsuit in November of 2023. But dig a little deeper and things get murky. A Department of Homeland Security agent who was part of the Miami raid told the New York Post that Diddy's mansion had rooms dedicated to sex, packed with sex toys, bondage gear, and here's the creepy part, the other creepy part, hidden cameras everywhere. We're talking angles you wouldn't even think about. The agent straight up said, if you were at those freak-off parties, you were being recorded. And then they dropped the bomb. He's as bad as Epstein. This comes directly from Homeland Security. What are these freak-offs? According to the 14-page federal indictment unsealed in September of 2024, they were drug-fueled, days-long sex parties where Diddy allegedly coerced women and men into performing with sex workers while he filmed it. Sometimes,
did she say she ain't holding back?
The feds seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants, narcotics, and even 3 AR-15s with scratched off serial numbers during the raids. But here's the theory that's got everyone talking. The feds weren't just after evidence to nail Diddy. They wanted those tapes, recordings that could show A-listers, politicians, and others in big shots, and compromising positions. Just like Epstein's infamous list of clients, these tapes could be blackmail gold. Why? Because controlling powerful people is the ultimate power move.
Fox News alert, new video inside the Diddy raid posted by his ex-girlfriend, showing feds inside the walls of his LA mansion. Bill Malugin has more. Bill.
Well, Jesse, for the very first time now, we're starting to see video that purports to show the exact moment the feds arrived to raid Diddy's home here in LA last week. And that video makes one thing crystal clear. The feds were not messing around. So take a look. Surveillance video posted on Instagram by Diddy's ex and edited together from multiple camera angles shows armored law enforcement vehicles arriving on the streets before armed agents quickly check vehicles in the driveway, then enter the Homey Hills home. Now inside, Homeland Security agents can be seen disabling at least one surveillance camera, and then even using a drone, take a look at that, to scout out ahead in the hallways. Eventually, both of Diddy's sons can be seen being detained by agents and taken outside the home.
No, not her.
Video obtained by TMZ shows the aftermath of that raid inside of Diddy's LA property, pretty much depicting the home essentially turned inside out, as you can see.
Now let's get to the juicy part. The idea that Diddy has been working with the feds for years. This isn't just some random internet rumor. It's been floating around for decades. Back in the 90s, Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, claimed that Diddy had direct meetings with federal agents in Washington, D.C. Deal said on the Art of Dialogue podcast in 2024 that the feds knew about Diddy's shady dealings and let him slide because he was feeding them info. Now fast forward to 2025, and everyone's talking about this. They're screaming that Diddy's been a snitch since day one, either too valuable to lock up or holding dirt on too many people that are way higher up in the food chain. And then there's Kanye West. Yes, Kanye. Years ago, he said on a podcast that Diddy was a fed, allegedly tasked with collecting dirt on celebs and rich folks at his parties. Sounds wild, right? But think about it. Diddy's been accused of serious crimes for years. Assault, trafficking, even grooming allegations with young stars like Usher, Justin Bieber. Children who were groomed at the time have spoken out now that they're adults. And somehow he's always walked free. In 1999, he was acquitted in the New York nightclub shooting that left 3 people injured, even though the victim, Natanya Rubin, swore she saw Diddy was the person that shot her in the face. His protege Shine took the fall and did a decade in prison. Coincidence or protection? Now, this is where investigative journalist Whitney Webb comes in, tying it all together like a detective in a noir film. In her 2025 article, one labeled under Blackmail, the early intersections of Diddy and the Epstein network, Webb digs into Diddy's early years and his ties to a web of organized crime and intelligence agencies. She points out that Diddy's rise in the music industry wasn't just talent. Well, we know it's not talent. It was backed by shady figures like Andre Harrell, Russell Simmons, those who had their own connections to crime syndicates like the Gambino and Genovese families. But the real gut punch is Diddy's father, Melvin Combs. Melvin was a drug dealer in Harlem, linked to a massive heroin ring busted in 1971. When the feds raided the operation, they had wiretaps on Melvin's phone, suggesting that he might have been a snitch. Now, he was murdered in 1972, and the Gambino family actually blamed him.
Shout out to Melanie. She going there.
In LA last week, and that video makes one thing crystal clear. The feds were not messing around. So take a look. Surveillance video posted on Instagram by Diddy's ex and edited together from multiple camera angles shows armored law enforcement vehicles arriving on the streets before armed agents quickly check vehicles in the driveway, then enter the Homey Hills home. Now inside, Homeland Security agents can be seen disabling at least one surveillance camera and then even using a drone, take a look at that, to scout out ahead in the hallways. Eventually, both of Diddy's sons can be seen being detained by agents and taken outside the home. Video obtained by TMZ shows the aftermath of that raid inside of Diddy's LA property, pretty much depicting the home essentially turned inside out, as you can see.
Now let's get to the juicy part. The idea that Diddy has been working with the feds for years. This isn't just some random internet rumor. It's been floating around for decades. Back in the 90s, Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, claimed that Diddy had direct meetings with federal agents in Washington, D.C. Deal said on the Art of Dialogue podcast in 2024 that the feds knew about Diddy's shady dealings and let him slide because he was feeding them info. Now, fast forward to 2025, and everyone's talking about
he was
this.
doing
Their
what?
bodyguard, Gene Deal, claimed that Diddy had direct meetings with federal agents in Washington, D.C. Deal said on the Art of Dialogue podcast in 2024 that the feds knew about Diddy's shady dealings and let him slide because he was feeding them info. Now, fast forward to 2025, and everyone's talking about this. They're screaming that Diddy's been a snitch since day one, either too valuable to lock up or holding dirt on too many people that are way higher up in the food chain. And then there's Kanye West. Yes.
Not Kanye.
Years ago, he said on a podcast that Diddy was a fed, allegedly tasked with collecting dirt on celebs and rich folks at his parties. Sounds wild, right? But think about it. Diddy's been accused of serious crimes for years. Assault, trafficking, even grooming allegations with young stars like Usher, Justin Bieber. Children who were groomed at the time have spoken out now that they're adults. And somehow he's always walked free. In 1999, he was acquitted in the New York nightclub shooting that left 3 people injured, even though the victim, Tanya Rubin, swore she saw Diddy was the person that shot her in the face. His protege Shine took the fall and did a decade in prison. Coincidence or protection? Now, this is where investigative journalist Whitney Webb comes in, tying it all together like a detective in a noir film. In her 2025 article, one labeled under Blackmail, the early intersections of Diddy and the Epstein network, Webb digs into Diddy's early years and his ties to a web of organized crime and intelligence agencies. She points out that Diddy's rise in the music industry wasn't just talent. Well, we know it's not talent. It was backed by shady figures like Andre Harrell, Russell Simmons, those who had their own connections to crime syndicates like the Gambino and Genovese families. But the real gut punch is Diddy's father, Melvin Combs. Melvin was a drug dealer in Harlem, linked to a massive heroin ring busted in 1971. When the feds raided the operation, they had wiretaps on Melvin's phone, suggesting that he might have been a snitch. Now, he was murdered in 1972, and the Gambino family allegedly blamed him for ratting out their crew. Webb argues that this is a set pattern. Diddy grew up in a world where cooperating with the feds could have kept you alive or at least keep you out of jail. She suggests that Diddy's freak-off tapes, like Epstein's recordings, weren't just personal kicks. They were leveraged either for his own protection or to serve bigger players, possibly intelligence agencies or the so-called deep state. Not so-called deep state, the actual deep state. Webb's book, One Nation Under Blackmail, lays out how blackmail is the ultimate tool for control. Epstein used hidden cameras to record elites in compromising acts, ensuring their silence or compliance. Diddy's setup sounds eerily similar. Hidden cameras, powerful guests, and a treasure trove of incriminating footage. A Homeland Security agent even told the Daily Mail that Diddy's tapes were used to ensure the continued obedience and silence of victims. Webb's theory? Diddy might have been running a modern honeypot, collecting dirt for someone or something bigger. Not just himself, but the actual government. Okay, so you may be saying, deep state sounds like something your uncle rants about at Thanksgiving. But no. I gotta break this down. It's not some secret club with a handshake. It's a loose network of powerful people in government, intelligence, and business who protect their own interests. You're telling me that doesn't exist? Webb's work suggests Diddy's tapes could have been feeding this machine directly. His ex-bodyguard, like I said, Gene Deal, who claimed in 2024 that Diddy had recordings on politicians, princes, and preachers, TD Jakes, at his parties. Fox News host Jesse Waters took it further, saying that the government now has those tapes and that they could expose corruption and to make a scandal that's even bigger than Epstein's. Think about it. Diddy's been hobnobbing with the elite forever. His white parties in the Hamptons from 2004 to 2009 were star-studded with everyone from Reverend Al Sharpton to A-list actors showing up. His freak-offs, though they were more exclusive, with private jets shuttling guests to secret spots, if those events were wired with cameras, who was Diddy sharing his footage with? Some say the CIA or the FBI or other agencies known for using blackmail in operations like Epstein's. Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein victim, even posted in 2024 suggesting that Epstein was a Mossad or CIA agent running a blackmail ring. Could Diddy have been playing a similar game? Now fast forward to May of 2025. Diddy's trial kicks off in New York. The charges? You all know it. Sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and prostitution. Prosecutors bring out heavy hitters like Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, who testified about the abuse that she suffered for years, the coercion, all of the freak-off nastiness. Witnesses, including former assistants and male escorts, backed her up, describing violence and blackmail. The jury saw a 2016 hotel video we've all seen of Diddy attacking Cassie, verified as authentic by forensic analyst Frank Piazza. They also watched the 10 freak-off videos allegedly showing coerced acts. One thing to note, none of these videos were in his home, where he has all these cameras. No. All the freak-offs that Cassie participated in were in hotels. So where are the freak-off videotapes from his home? Why were they purposely and deceptively left out of this trial?
Small business, big ideas. Protect
Why
them
was
with
it
digital
left out?
security designed with small...
And deceptively left out of this trial. Is that why the jury didn't convict him on the most serious charges? What was really going on at the time? But here's the twist. On July 2nd, Diddy was acquitted of the biggest charges, the racketeering, the sex trafficking. He was only found guilty of 2 lesser counts of transportation for prostitution. His family cheered, and supporters outside the courthouse, well, they celebrated with baby oil being squirted on them and getting half naked. Of all things, really? The judge denied bail, but the verdict felt like a slap on the wrist for a guy accused of running a sexual crime empire. Why? Some say it was a show. I believe it was a show, a way to look tough on Diddy without exposing the powerful people on those tapes. People are saying things, a lot of people are calling it for what it is, a cover-up, with one claiming that Congress is nervous because the trial could have blown the lid off of bigger names, including their names. So let's tackle the big question. How did Diddy dodge accountability for so long? Well, first, there's the informant angle. If he was feeding the feds info or tapes since the 90s, they might have looked the other way. Second, his wealth and connections. Diddy's not just a rapper, guys. He's a billionaire with a business empire, Bad Boy Records, clothing lines, you name it. He's been tight with politicians and celebs, even campaigning for Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Biden and Kamala Harris, okay? For Democrats for decades. That kind of clout buys silence. Then there's the statute of limitations. Take the 2016 Cassie assault video. Gut-wrenching footage of Diddy kicking her in the hotel hallway. By the time it leaked in 2024, California's 1 year limit for assault charges had long passed. Other accusers, like a woman claiming Diddy and others had gang raped her at 17 years old in 2003, faced similar legal hurdles. And if Diddy was holding blackmail tapes, he had leverage to keep victims quiet, to keep those who would prosecute him quiet. The indictment says he used sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings to control people. Where are the rest of the recordings is what I want to know. Now, this is what I think is the scariest part. Blackmail isn't just a crime, it's a system. Whitney Webb's One Nation Under Blackmail, her 2 expose books, shows how Epstein's network used sex tapes to manipulate elites, from presidents to CEOs. Diddy's freak-offs could have been the hip-hop version of that. A 2024 Radar Online report said that over 120 people planned to sue Diddy for sexual abuse, and his tapes allegedly targeted everyone from victims to high-profile guests. One source told them it's starting to add fuel to the fire that he was running a sextortion ring. Why would the feds raid his homes and then not use any of the tapes in his actual trial?
What?
Because the trial could have blown the lid off of bigger names, including their names. So let's tackle the big question. How did Diddy dodge accountability for so long? Well, first, there's the informant angle. If he was feeding the feds info or tapes since the 90s, they might have looked the other way. Second, his wealth and connections. Diddy's not just a rapper, guys. He's a billionaire with a business empire, Bad Boy Records, clothing lines, you name it. He's been tight with politicians and celebs, even campaigning for Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Biden and Kamala Harris, okay? For Democrats for decades. That kind of clout buys silence. Then there's the statute of limitations. Take the 2016 Cassie assault video. Gut-wrenching footage of Diddy kicking her in the hotel hallway. By the time it leaked in 2024, California's 1 year limit for assault charges had long passed. Other accusers, like a woman claiming Diddy and others had gang raped her at 17 years old in 2003, faced similar legal hurdles. And if Diddy was holding blackmail tapes, he had leverage to keep victims quiet, to keep those who would prosecute him quiet. The indictment says he used sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings to control people. Where are the rest of the recordings is what I want to know. Now, this is what I think is the scariest part. Blackmail isn't just a crime, it's a system. Whitney Webb's One Nation Under Blackmail, her 2 expose books, shows how Epstein's network used sex tapes to manipulate elites, from presidents to CEOs. Diddy's freak-offs could have been the hip-hop version of that. A 2024 Radar Online report said that over 120 people planned to sue Diddy for sexual abuse, and his tapes allegedly targeted everyone from victims to high-profile guests. One source told them it's starting to add fuel to the fire that he was running a sextortion ring. Why would the feds raid his homes and then not use any of the tapes in his actual trial?
They didn't use any.
Or was it to protect the system?
Miami
if
stuff.
those tapes got out, they could topple careers, expose corruption, maybe even shake governments. The Atlantic noted in June of 2025, last month, that public speculation about who was on the tapes, like Justin Bieber or Democrat bigwigs, overshadowed the trial's real issues. But that distraction might have been the point, guys. If the feds have the tapes, okay, as been suggested, they control the narrative. And Diddy? He's either a pawn or a player in a game way bigger than himself. So where does this leave us? Diddy's sentencing is set for October 3rd. But the bigger question is whether those tapes will ever see daylight, like the Epstein list. Over 50 witnesses, dozens of phones, hard drives were seized, guys, yet no list of names has leaked. Just like Epstein, like I told you, where the client list has stayed under wraps. The public might never know who was caught on Diddy's cameras. Whitney Webb warns that blackmail is becoming the defining crime of the 21st century, thanks to data harvesting and hidden surveillance. If she's right, Diddy's just one piece of a much darker puzzle. This story is not over. More lawsuits are coming, and the pressure's building up.
More
Will
lawsuits are
someone
coming.
eventually spill the beans? Will a tape leak?
More lawsuits are coming. Facts. Now, before I get over there, who is this cat? Who is Don the dealer, male escort? Oh, I ain't seen these. I mean, they popping out the woodworks, ain't they? Hell, I go to sleep and there is a war on, hold on, let me cut this. I ain't even listened to this. Hold on. He was definitely wrong, but just wanted to humiliate. Yeah, it's bigger than that, Shelly Shell. Please don't fall for the hype. It's bigger than that. They got a whole nother state that they haven't even convicted on yet. That's coming. They told us that all the other ones were being put on hold until they see the outcome of this one. Oh, it's coming. Believe that. They ain't say nothing. What about Tisa Tells? I don't allow you just drop it. What you put a name here for? The Charm Life. What you do that? What? Don't name drop over here. I like Tisa, but don't name drop over here. How you gonna come and put somebody else's name in there, but you didn't even say hi to me? What you doing? What are you talking about? First of all, what the fuck are you talking about? Girl, I done took a nap. Today ain't your day. What are you talking about? Who is Pizza? Who is Pizza? Girl, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I mean, sit your ass in time out and think about what you're trying to say. And don't name drop nobody over here. I don't care who it is without speaking to me. You better learn where you are. Yeah. A bad mouth somebody. Bitch, you girl. Get her right on together if she comes back after being in the corner like a little badass kid. And if she start that stupid stuff, not knowing where she at, remove her permanently. Hide the user. She don't know where she at. Obviously.
You'll see a list of trophies. And when it was announced that he had CCTV film
What's talking?
in the house.
That's up here. Hold on.
When
Who is this new cat?
All right, here we go. Today we have Don the dealer.
Who is Don the
Escort, who
dealer?
participated in dozens of Diddy's freak-offs with both Cassie and Daphne Joy over the course of 8 years. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Thanks for having me, man.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, but right now, like about an hour ago, the verdict is actually in.
Yeah, verdict's in.
Diddy was acquitted of RICO and sex trafficking charges and found guilty of 2 lesser charges of transportation of Cassie and Daphne Joy for prostitution. This is seen as a victory for Diddy because all the serious charges he's been cleared of.
Yeah.
Now, the judge still has to decide if he's going to be released before the sentencing, if he's going to get a bond, which I think he should. But at this point, he's still in jail, and we'll see what happens the next day or so. So, how do you feel as someone that was involved in dozens of freak-offs and got to know Diddy over the years? How do you think this verdict played out?
I feel like it played out like it was supposed to. I can only account for my point of view, but from what I saw willing participation. I didn't see like any of the rampant drug use and stuff that they were describing, prosecution was describing. So I think that given the situation and what really happened, I feel like justice was served, you know. I think that he was kind of more so being looked down upon for his sexual proclivities that weren't anything, in my view, an extreme. You know, voyeurism is what it is, and I think that it was kind of blown out of proportion. So I'm glad that he's getting what I view as like his, due justice. Is what it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, the prosecution, by putting Cassie and Daphne on the stand, try to paint a picture.
He got some
that
pretty
Diddy was
eyes. I ain't
forcing
never
them
seen
into
him.
these acts. He was controlling them by both force and finances.
Right.
You know, whether it's the beating of Cassie or saying that you're going to lose your record deal or I'm not going to pay Daphne Joy's rent or whatever else. They try to paint it as that for the sex trafficking and possibly even the RICO, but ultimately those were thrown out. And you've always maintained that both girls, when you guys had your freak-offs, were both into it. There was no level of, I don't want to do this, he's forcing me to do it. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, his whole thing was he never made any demands. He was always like, act like I'm not in the room. What would y'all do if I wasn't here? And if we were starting to get to a certain point too quickly, he would separate us like, no, you guys go over there. So she was always the one in control. Both of them were always the one in control during these moments. He was kind of like
you
background,
just told him that
he
he
kinda
stopped
kept us
y'all and separated
into a certain,
y'all. Which
like,
one is
mindset
it?
of we want to focus like on this love hour. But for the most part, it was do what you want to do. So I don't think that he was really, pressuring people or making demands against people's will, again, from my point of view. So,
look, I've been saying this for 9 months. Every interview, every tweet, I've been saying he's going to beat the RICO, he's going to beat the sex trafficking. He might get the prostitution charge. And now it's really up to the judge. It could be time served or it could be as much as 10 years.
Yeah.
Possibly 10 years for every charge. So it could possibly be 20 years. We don't know. We ultimately don't know. It could turn into one of these OJ situations where, okay, you beat the murder, but we're going to give you 35 years for trying to steal your stuff back.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It might turn into that based on
Absolutely.
all the graphic details
That's how
that were
they
set on
got
the stand.
That's
We
how they
really
got
don't know.
OJ.
But we'll see. At this point, it seems like a victory.
Yeah, I think it's a victory. I think that overall, there was, in the court of public opinion, the video footage that we did see about the Cassie stuff, a lot of people had passed a lot of judgment on him. I've been one person to kind of feel that you are more than one time in your life, one moment in your life. You can't just be judged off that one moment in time. So I think that rubbed a lot of wrong people the wrong way. And that's what applied all that pressure for him to be hit with these RICO charges, these huge charges in court. So overall, I feel like now things are kind of balanced back out to where they kind of need to be so he can kind of get his fair shake,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, hold that thought.
After 42 years.
Hold that thought, because I had never seen him speak. So hold on, it's one more. Because our boy Rico, he went on Vlad breaking bread with the brothers, baby. With the strippers. With the strippers. Let me see what part 2 was. He broke bread with the strippers, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into your story. Now, you're an adult film star.
Right.
And you worked for an agency called Cowboys for Angels.
Right, yeah.
Now, what happened around 2016?
2016, I just moved to Miami from Atlanta, and
so he one of the Miami boys.
Celebrity client to meet at the one hotel on South Beach, and that ended up being Diddy.
Okay, now previous to that, now you did adult films, but were you actually doing escorting? Meeting with women, couples, and so forth.
So at that point in time, in 2016, I wasn't doing any adult films. I didn't do that until 2023. That's when I started, or 2024. So to that point, it was just, I had a job as a market development manager for a small startup company. And then I ended up getting into the escorting business just by way of modeling. Somebody hit me up off Model Mayhem. It looked like spam. First name Garen, last name Teed. Pitched this idea of being a gigolo. Had no idea what that was other than Deuce Bigelow, no gigolo. So, but ended up getting into that, and it was just dates. Go on a date with this older lady and just tell her she's attractive and this is a great time and compliment her, and that's all it was. It was, I mean, I had one point where I went on a date with a lady and she had heart palpitations. I had to take her to the, these are old.
Damn.
These are old, these women are, right? So
what was
for
the
the most
oldest
part,
woman that you went on a date with?
73. Yeah.
Did you guys consummate that?
We did not. No,
Okay.
I'm not a miracle worker. I can't make the dead rise or this. So I was just like, you know, we're gonna eat this. We're gonna eat this Italian food, and that's gonna be it.
Okay.
But that's how it was. You know, the whole thing was described to me. It was like, this isn't sexual. You know, for sexual contact for monetary gratification. Like this was just going to be dates and stuff like that. So that's really what it was up until this point in time.
Okay, so you're working for Cowboys for Angels, and you get a call that there's a celebrity client, and they don't tell you who it is yet.
No, they don't tell me who it is. All they told me was it was a celebrity client, last name Lopez. And then they went on, as I'm on the way to the hotel, they're like, yeah, so just ask for Mr. Lopez. And in my head, I'm like, you know, this is a straight male escort agency. So I'm trying to figure out what how does this work into the situation? I'm like, they knew that wasn't my thing. So I'm thinking in my head, like George Lopez or Jennifer
Not when
Lopez. It could
sex
be
get
like,
involved.
I'm thinking any Lopez celebrity name. So then I get to the hotel, and the front desk clerk walks me upstairs. I said, I'm there for Mr. Lopez. Get up there. It's like Latin music playing in the hallway. So I'm really thinking this is a Hispanic person, celebrity, still trying to rack my brain to figure out who it is. And door opens up, and Diddy's just standing there in like a black wife beater and some shorts. And he's like, what's up, man? I'm like, oh. First thought was like, oh, it's Diddy. Like, this is, and then I was like, oh no, it's Diddy. Because at this point in time, people still, you know, those accusations were out there. So I'm like, you know, I had to double take that for a second. But it was chill. Like, walked right in, and it was pretty easy. Got in there, it looked like an episode of Cribs. It was nothing but Ciroc from like bottom to top of the shelf in the refrigerator, drinking Ciroc, sitting, chilling. He offered me a joint, we smoking. He seemed like he was very cool guy. He just got off of some knee surgery and was doing some type of commercial about his recovery at that point in time. So all in all, when this very beginning, it was more so very chill, just kind of hanging out, smoking, chilling. Not until like a couple hours into that did he tell me like, oh, what were you doing tonight? And, you know, you about to have the best Valentine's Day of your life. And then Cassie walks out.
Okay, so Cassie comes in red lingerie.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew who she was right away.
Immediately. I'm a year younger than her, so I grew up with the Me and You song and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. I don't believe that I'm really here right now, but let's see where this goes. So
okay, so then the two of you started to talk.
Yeah, we started talking. He left the room for a second, and mind you, when I got in there, I didn't really know what was going to happen, but I just noticed like there's a lot of towels, white towels on all the couches and the furniture and stuff. There's a red light over in the side. They're playing like, you know, some very vibey music. And there's like a ton of baby oil like scattered about everywhere, like more than any one man should have, you know, and especially in a hotel room, right? So he had got up and left, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, I made the joke like, there's so much baby oil and candles in here, like one wrong move and we all gonna die. You know, we all gonna blow up in this thing. So, but she was very communicative in the fact that she was joking and very playful with me. She told me that she picked me from the site. And it seemed as if this was something that they'd been doing for some years. They said they'd been doing this for a while too. So as far as like the vibe of the night, I took my cues from them. They pretty much knew exactly what they wanted. Again, felt like they'd done this before. And that's pretty much how it started out.
So this sort of talking and, you know, sort of intimate kind of conversation, that lasted for hours.
Yeah, I mean, I was initially supposed to be with her for about 4 or 5 hours. I got paid as soon as I got there. And I'm thinking, again, up to this point, a lot of what I'd been doing was just hanging out. At that point, yeah, it was 4 or 5 hours into it. I thinking I'm about to go home, and then all of a sudden he was like, all right, you know, we're gonna turn this thing up a little bit. The music changed. more baby oil comes out. Baby oil and KY. I'm like, who got this? You know, it's baby oil and KY comes out. It's heated. They've been heating the baby oil the whole time that we talking in the tub, right? So this was like they kind of knew what they were doing. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, that's when it kind of started off. He was more so wanting us to just talk to each other. You know, his whole thing is like being very verbal. So he was in the kitchen in the dark with a bottle of Ciroc. And we're sitting on the couch, and he was like, what do you like about him? You picked him from the site. What made you pick him from the site? What do you like about her? You know, he was more so, he wanted us to talk and act like he was not there at all. So that's kind of how it progressed. But it was a very long progression over the course of hours and hours.
Right, because at one point he said, it's the love hour.
Right, and that's when when the love hour happened and he became Brother Love, then it was like a totally different, the vibe changed. It was more so like the music switched up. He was asking, did he want to refresh drinks and stuff, like a cool host almost, but you can kind of tell like they had some type of formula of where they wanted the night to go. So I was just along for the ride, honestly.
Okay, so you guys start with sexual contact in the beginning, and that actually leads up to penetration at the end?
Yeah, it was more so just physical touch. So there was lots of baby oil around, as I said before, and he was like, okay, well, why don't you put some baby oil on her? And then she was like, he asked her, why don't you put some baby oil on him? So it was more so that, talking, caressing, stuff like that for hours, like for an ungodly long amount of time. And at a certain point, she would start to kind of like come towards me to kind of like move things along. And he would be like, no, go back. You know, you just tell him you're moving too fast, you know. So he never was telling anybody what he wanted them to do. He never gave demands to say, touch him, do this. He would say, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this? Do you like that about him? It was all about the verbal cues.
So he was teaching. He was grooming.
Okay, so at the end, you guys actually engage in intercourse.
Yeah, at the end, about like hour 8 or 9.
Why does it always seem like they are trying to protect Diddy in what he is doing? But it didn't seem like he was trying to. But she was doing her own thing. He stopped her. Am I tripping? Did he not stop her and say, well, no, you're moving too fast? So it wasn't free. She wasn't free to do whatever she wanted to do in this encounter. Am I tripping? Did he not say he stopped her? And then he comes back and say, well, it wasn't like it was forced or anything like. Well, hell, she wasn't free to do her own freaking? What you mean? What?
Sexual contact in the beginning, and that actually leads up to penetration at the end?
Yeah, it was more so just physical touch. So there was lots of baby oil around, as I said before, and he was like, okay, well, why don't you put some baby oil on her? And then she was like, he asked her, do you want you to put some baby oil on him? So it was more so that, talking, caressing, stuff like that for hours, like for an ungodly long amount of time. And at a certain point, she would start to kind of like come towards me to kind of like move things along. And he would be like, no, go back.
Stop right there.
Just tell him.
Right there. Right there. What was that? What is that called? She was trying to hurry up and get it along, get this shit over with. And what are you saying? Diddy said, no. You go over there. What? Am I missing something? So she wasn't free to do what she wanted to do. Right? What does no mean? He stopped
that actually leads up to penetration at the end?
Yeah, it was more so just physical touch. So there was lots of baby oil around, as I said before, and he was like, okay, well, why don't you put some baby oil on her? And then she was like, he asked her, do you want you to put some baby oil on him? So it was more so that, talking, caressing, stuff like that for hours, like for an ungodly long amount of time. And at a certain point, she would start to kind of like come towards me to kind of like move things along. And he would be like, no, go back. You know, you just tell him you moving too fast. You know, so he never was telling anybody what he wanted them to do. He never gave demands.
See how he lied?
This.
You see, you see how he just lied? He just lied. He just said he never what? What did you just lie and say? You just lied.
Tell him you moving too fast. You know, so he never was telling anybody
what to
he
do.
wanted them to do. He never
He was never telling anybody what you are a lie. You just lied. You just your story is to vouch for the man. So you just popped up to lie. He never told anybody what to do. You're a lie. You just said he told her no. When she was trying to move it along. And we heard that from Jane. Oh, is this Jane? Which one is this? Cassie or Jane? Cause she made mention that she was trying to just hear. I'm trying to figure out which one is the funky, stinky one. But she was trying to hear it along and he stopped her. So this must be you.
Demands to say, touch him, do this. He would say, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this? Do you
You're
like
lying. You said that he started y'all out with the baby rubbing and caressing for ungodly. Why are you lying?
Verbal cues for him.
Okay, so at the end, you guys actually engage in intercourse.
Yeah, at the end, about like hour.
So you're a prostitute.
At the end of the intercourse, though, something specific happens.
Right. So he wanted me to finish on climax on her. So and this was something that she said that she was ready for as well. Again, we've been there for a couple hours. It was a weird thing because at this point in time, I'd never had like another male in the room like that. So when he was like, finish, you got to finish manually. So it was a task. Like, I felt like this arm was significantly bigger than this arm by the time I left. Because I'm just like, this is weird. He's literally off to the side, drinking Ciroc, talking about, get it, King. Get her, King. It was just a weird, he's in like this. So I'm like, all right, this is surreal. But so I finish.
Wow.
And my thought process is, they were getting up to go take a shower because we were in the living room and they were going to go back to their back room. So when she got up to go up to the back room, I didn't think anything of it. You're not going to use these KY Johnson & Johnson towels to wipe that off, right? So I'm thinking when she got up, I'm like, all right, this is surreal. But so I finish. And my thought process is, they were getting up to go take a shower because we were in the living room and they were going to go back to their back room. So when she got up to go up to the back room, I didn't think anything of it. You're not going to use these KY Johnson & Johnson towels to wipe that off, right? So I'm thinking you're going to go to the back room. So it never crossed my mind what they were doing back there. Had no idea that she was finger painting on his chest with...
With your
what was funny was
with your ice
on climax on her. So and this was something that she said that she was ready for as well. Again, we've been there for a couple hours. It was a weird thing because at this point in time, I'd never had like another male in the room like that. So when he was like, finish, you got to finish manually. So it was a task. Like, I felt like this arm was significantly bigger than this arm by the time I left, because I'm just like, this is weird. He's literally off to the side, drinking Ciroc, talking about, get it, King. Get her, King. It was just a weird, he's in like this. So I'm like, all right, this is surreal. But so I finish, and my thought process is, they were getting up to go take a shower because we were in the living room and they were going to go back to their back room. So when she got up to go up to the back room, I didn't think anything of it. You're not going to use these KY Johnson & Johnson towels to wipe that off, right? So I'm thinking you're going to go to the back room. So it never crossed my mind what they were doing back there. Had no idea that she was finger painting on his chest with, you know, so
Blade
man
knife.
juice.
yeah.
Yeah, what was funny was when I had Punisher on my show, and the exact same routine, right? Have sex, pull out, bust on her, and then she would like run off in the other room, you know, with it. Because a lot of times with him, like Diddy would go in the other room before they finished. She would like go to him and close the door. And he said when he watched the trial, and when she said that, you know, that he, you know, she would take the cum and rub it on his chest, he was actually relieved because he thought that Diddy was eating it.
I don't know if I'd be relieved. I'm probably equally as terrified from both of those things, right? I'm like, there's no way this is a good scenario.
it's all
But,
bad, no matter how you do it.
It's a lot. I found out just like he did during the court process, and I'm reading this transcript with my girlfriend, and she's like, "He did what?" So it was like we were all blindsided by that. I never got that vibe from him. You know, that this was something that he was. To me, it was just he's all about the visual. He wants to watch. I didn't know they were engaging and stuff in the back room. When they would leave, he would be like, "All right, bro, you can go ahead and order room service and smoke, and you know, if you want to leave, you can leave, or I'll come back out and we'll hang out for a second, and then maybe we'll do another one." But, you know, this is like 8 or 9 hours in. I'm not trying to do nothing else. So more times than not, it would just be wrapped up after that.
Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. What's next? Let me see what our boy talking about. Let's see what he talking about. Oh my God. Let's see what Rico Suarez. Oh, Shelly, you still here? Shelly, you still here?
Levi's on. You keep your shoes on, and you keep the tank top on.
Shelly, you still here?
That process.
Put shit on the table.
Okay, so you're sitting in the living room, the shit is on the table, and then what happens?
All right, so I come in, I sit down, and I'm just in my head, I'm just like, damn, this motherfucker's fine as hell. I sit down, and then she sits down on the sofa, so I'm facing her like this. And she's like, "Can I see your phone?" So I give her my phone, and she turns it off. She's like, "You mind?" I said, "Does it matter?" And she's like, "My husband and I, we like to do role playing, and you know, he likes to give instructions, and he likes to see men dominate me that are of physical stature." And I'm like, "No problem." I'm like, "So are we gonna fuck?" Because I didn't bring no rubbers, and I don't give a fuck how fine you is, bitch. We not, you know. Hey, I'm not. No way, it ain't.
The Flash.
So what are you thinking every time that she keeps mentioning her husband? Like, have you done husband and wife before, or are you just kind of okay with it? You're used to it, or what? You just like. Are you into men too, or
like? Oh nah, not at all. Not at all, but I mean, I respect it because I have a younger brother who's in that community heavy. You know, just
let me.
My preference is pussy. I mean,
oh yeah, I gotta watch him because he. Oh, I'm sorry.
My bad.
He said a lot of vulgar stuff. So hold on, let me get.
I really like women a lot.
Let me get.
Okay. So she mentions her and her husband.
Like my Yankee fitted. And I got my blade in my boot. You know what I mean?
That process, just up until this point where you are right now, where she didn't want to do it.
Oh, they kill me always about her not wanting.
For me, I know women so well. I got water bottles in my bag. And
Levi's on, you keep your shoes on, and you keep the tank top on. Okay, and now what?
He's like the mob boss.
Just
but he like a mob boss.
Like he was just sitting there.
I was nigga back there. He was 6'1", probably 215, 220, but I really
And in
wasn't
my
worried about
mind,
that.
wouldn't you think, nigga?
I'm trying to get.
Okay, now we're back. I have to get
Oh,
behind
shit.
you or to the side.
Like I can see him behind me,
Okay.
but he's
So is your back towards him?
Yeah, exactly. So she's laying on the bed, like on her missionary style. I'm in between her. Mind you, I never take my boots off. So as I'm in between her, you know, she hops up and she's rubbing the oil on me and she's like, pull that nigga dick out. Yeah, pull that nigga. Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
Who said that? Diddy?
Yes.
Oh, he wanted some dick that day. So it was like,
well, he's like, I know you want to see it. I know you want that motherfucker. Like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we're definitely fucking. And then I started tripping because, like I said, I'm not barebacking, yo, and I want my money. You know, I'm not barebacking, yo. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I don't need that anxiety. I don't need it.
I'm not barebacking.
And
you.
now folks is suing them for STDs. Cassie is being sued now, y'all.
So Diddy is saying, you know, okay, so let's get back. So, you know, you like those mandigos, baby. Yeah, oh, that nigga up. You know you want to pull that dick out. Pull his dick out.
So she unlocked the Gucci belt. Hit the flies. I had the Levi fly bottoms, fly joints on. The ones with the multiple. The shit. She pulled my shit out, nigga. She's going to work.
Wait, so she just started sucking it.
He's like, yeah, suck that shit, bitch.
And
everything that is being said in court is like you're.
For a minute, I'm half mad.
Yeah, let me get to the other one. But that's Flash.
Right there.
Like this. But when I was jerking off.
Yes, about to shoot on her.
Oh, when I was jerking off, I was standing over her. And that shit just like bomb paid her, like probably from here down to here. And I was mad because
so
she
you
had
shot it everywhere. It's like it was a shoot or like a ooze.
It was like a shotgun splatter, nigga. 12.
Wow.
Yep.
Yo. But see, me being a gentleman, I reached down and tried to grab one of and she's like, oh no, you can shower now. And I'm like, huh?
Wait, you went out for a minute. Your thing glitched. So you said,
oh no.
Go ahead. No, so when you went to grab the towel, what happened?
Oh, so I grabbed a towel and I went to.
He done made all of these dancers.
She's like, "Oh no, that's okay. You can go take a shower now." And I'm like, "Okay, nigga, you talk about one of the quickest."
Yeah, okay, I gotta go on from here. But I was trying to catch him where he was standing up. I just don't remember what point that's at. Yeah, but that's Flash. That's the one that had Diddy here working overtime. Got me working day and night. Got him working day and night. Hold on, let me see. There's 2 lawsuits, y'all. Let's look at. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Today we have Rico Bozat, one of the escorts hired for freak offs with Diddy and his girlfriend Jane Doe, who took the stand in Puffy's Fed trial.
He looked a little different
Jane Doe is
today.
allegedly the baby mother of a famous rapper from Queens. Rico, welcome to Vlad TV.
What's up? Good to be here.
Well, things are pretty crazy right now. The jury deliberations are going for the Diddy trial. And you are involved in this overall case, although you didn't take the stand. So I just want to get your whole story.
Why he didn't take the stand?
Yes.
Okay.
He was subpoenaed.
You got into a bunch of trouble growing up.
Yeah.
Expelled from schools, fighting, this, that. And I guess when you were 16, you went to juvenile for a while?
Yeah, for 5 months. I had to live in juvenile in the boot camp.
She said, hey, Rico.
Okay. got out, you started fighting.
Can you go up a little closer,
Started doing MMA,
AunTeaFee?
amateur, and then went professional.
Okay, but once you went professional, things went bad in terms of blood clots?
Yep. I got pulmonary embolism and a blood clot in my heart, and I was diagnosed with protein S deficiency. It's like a hereditary condition where my blood gets real thick. So I had to get on medication and had to stop fighting.
Okay, so you stopped fighting, and then a few years later, you actually went to jail for a marijuana possession?
I went to jail for a marijuana possession and a bank fraud charge.
Okay,
And
you did 2 years.
2.5, yep.
2.5. I was going to say marijuana possession doesn't usually come with that unless you have some massive
And like
quantity.
the bank fraud I got when I was 17, so I honestly wasn't not supposed to be getting charged as an adult in Louisiana, but it was just a pretty bad justice system at the time.
Okay, so in 2020, you moved to Las Vegas, and you started a gym, you started training fighters and so forth.
Yep, started managing fighters and producing male review shows in Las Vegas.
Okay, so how'd you get into the male review shows?
When I was in New Orleans after I started fighting, I started doing acting, and I was on NCIS New Orleans set, and Channing Tatum was there, and he told me about a restaurant that he had on Bourbon Street called Saints and Sinners, where a lot of bachelorettes and birthday parties go, and they needed a dancer, because I was actually hired on set to be a dancer, and when they see me dance, he offered me that job. So I went and tried it out, and I made a lot of money dancing for bachelorette and birthday parties, and it just like became a thing for me.
Okay, so you're dancing at these parties, but, you know, for example, I interviewed Punisher.
Yeah.
Who was doing similar type of work. You're doing dancing, but some of the girls, they want privates, you know, after the fact. Was that happening during that time?
No, it wasn't.
At all?
Nope.
Okay. But at one point, that did start happening.
Yes, when I moved to Vegas.
Okay. So what was happening in Vegas?
I started a show, the same show that Punisher manages in New York. I managed that show in New Orleans and Las Vegas.
Oh, same show.
Male review, yep.
Okay. And what started to happen at that point?
I started training and moving guys in to be a part of the show, and I got with the agency that eventually got me to meet up with the Jane Doe, and just was doing the show and then training people out there.
Okay, but at that point in Vegas, when you were doing the male stripping, were you also sleeping with some of the clients?
It happened a couple times.
Okay, so how would it happen?
Booked through the agency, because it's originally the agency, it's like a companion agency, and you get paid to go on dates, to go on red carpets. It's more of like a boyfriend-girlfriend experience, but people will request, because it's mostly celebrities and high-end clients, they will request to have sex doing those things, and you have the choice to not to or to decide to and set a higher rate.
Okay, and this is Cowboys for Angels?
Yep.
All right, so describe your first escort experience.
My first escort experience. I was booked with a lady, and I went to a Bruno Mars concert with her, and then we went out to eat at Mastro's, but that one wasn't a sexual encounter. It was just like, she just needed a date and wanted to spend time with somebody.
Okay, how much did that cost?
$2,000.
Okay. When did the first, like, sexual escort experience happen?
First sexual escort experience happened. It was in Las Vegas at the Venetian, and I went to a show at the Sphere with the client. I was booked for a 4 hour, which is $2,000. And then when we got back from lunch, she asked me, she was like, would you be willing to? And I was like, I've never done it before, but if I was getting paid this amount, which is $5,000, I'd be comfortable to do that. And she was like, all right, that's okay. So that was my first sexual experience, was in Las Vegas.
Okay, so you got paid $3,000 to smash on top of the $2,000 you were already getting.
It was the $2,000 for the 4 hour, then the $3,000 on top to make it $5,000.
Yeah. Okay, so you just had sex for $3,000.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Were you able to perform, or was it kind of like in your head a little bit?
No, she was very attractive. It's something like I would have talked to this woman if I would have seen her out in public and done it anyway. It's like, it wasn't like it was a good thing. It was just, I got paid instead of doing it for free, kind of, you know?
Okay, how many of these sexual escort experiences did you have leading up to the whole Diddy thing?
2.
2. Yeah. So her and somebody else?
Yep.
Okay, was the second one attractive as well, or not so much?
Not so much.
Okay. So how are you able to perform when you're not attracted to the woman?
Cialis. Cialis and energy drinks.
Okay. And you got paid the extra $3,000 for that one as well?
Yep.
All right, so now you're making some money.
Because with the agency, it's like you sign a contract saying it's not sexual. When a person books you on the website, they go through this whole legal form. You can't request. So it's something that's not even part of the agency, because it's like they say you could get in trouble. The person can get in trouble if they request it. So outside of that, it's up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like not even connected to the agency.
Okay, so leading up to the Diddy situation, that went to the agency as well?
Yes.
So who contacted the agency? Was it Diddy or was it Jane Doe?
It seemed like Jane Doe from the text thread, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. So the agency calls you and says, look, we have a new client for you.
Yeah. There's like, we have a celebrity client and you're going to have to sign the NDA.
Okay. So Jane Doe actually told the agency that there's a celebrity involved.
He had already been with the agency.
Oh, because Diddy had already been using that agency for a while. Ah, okay, I get it. And they knew who he was and so forth.
Yeah, they knew everything.
Okay, so you get booked and they send you the NDA. You go through the NDA, what do you think at that point?
It didn't really seem like a legit NDA, but I just signed it because it was more like of a makeup company from what I understood. I feel like it was more of a scare tactic than an official NDA, you know?
Okay, so you sign the contract, you get the payment, and it was $2,000, right?
Yeah, you get the $2,000 when you get there.
Got it. And this was at the Edition Hotel in Hollywood?
Yep.
Okay. You knock on the door, what happens next?
I knock on the door and he opens the door.
He opens the door?
Yeah.
Okay, so no masks, no nothing?
No mask,
just
no
Diddy
nothing.
right there in front of you?
Yep.
What did you think when you first saw Diddy right there standing in front of you and you realized, okay, this is the client?
I had a friend that's with the agency that when I told him I had a celebrity booking, he told me,
some
he was
coming,
like,
some was brewing.
Girl. And I was like, this was like 2 days before the booking. And I'm like, no. So like when he opened it, I was just like, oh, he was right. That's exactly who it is.
Okay. So now you have Diddy standing in front of you and you're like, okay, my friend told me the right story.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
I walk in, he was like, what's up, man? You know who I am? And I knew who he was, but I was like, no. When he was like, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and I was like, and he played a song, and I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, well, my girl's in the room. He was like, do you want to drink? And I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, do you smoke? So I was like, yeah. So we walked out to the balcony, and we sitting there on the balcony just smoking, and he's like asking me about myself, my career, what I do, and telling me the girls getting ready in the room. And he's like, we chop it up for like 25 minutes about.
I'm gonna be honest, it's almost as
if he starts to tell me, well, this is what I want to do. I have a girl in there.
It's almost as if they all done talked and got the same story, because they say the exact same thing, and it's almost as if through this agency they've been told to gear in on Cassie and don't say that Diddy forced or Diddy nothing. I mean, well, it's not like he really was trying to, he really didn't, they all say the same thing. They all say the same. Is this why I stopped using this thing? Because it... Look. Yeah, they all say the same thing. But then they want to act like Diddy didn't direct or give instructions. How can y'all say that? What? But you fine, you cute though. He. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, my bad. Let's go.
I want you to dance for
contract. You get the payment, and it was $2,000, right?
Yeah, you get the $2,000 when you get there.
Got it. And this was at the Edition Hotel in Hollywood?
Yep.
Okay. You knock on the door, what happens next?
I knock on the door and he opens the door.
He opens the door?
Yeah.
Okay, so no masks, no nothing?
No masks,
just
no
Diddy
nothing.
right there in front of you?
Yep.
What did you think when you first saw Diddy right there standing in front of you and you realized, okay, this is the client?
I had a friend that's with the agency that when I told him I had a celebrity booking, he told me, he was like, it's going to be Diddy and the girl. And I was like, this was like 2 days before the booking. And I'm like, no. So like when he opened it, I was just like, oh, he was right. That's exactly who it is.
Okay. So now you have Diddy standing in front of you and you're like, okay, my friend told me the right story. Yeah. So what happens next?
I walk in, he was like, what's up, man? You know who I am? And I knew who he was, but I was like, no. And he was like, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy. And I was like, and he played a song, and I was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, well, my girl's in the room. He was like, do you want a drink? And I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, do you smoke? So I was like, yeah. So we walked out to the balcony, and we sitting there on the balcony just smoking, and he's like asking me about myself, my career, what I do, and telling me the girls getting ready in the room. And he's like, we chop it up for like 25 minutes about like music, my fight career, and then he starts to tell me, well, this is what I want to do. I have a girl in there I want you to dance for. I want to create an environment. I want to create a vibe. And then she walks out a little while later in lingerie.
Okay. And this is a Asian female?
Yeah, like a black and Asian female. I didn't know who it was at the time.
Okay. So the female walks in. Did she look familiar?
You got a wedding ring on?
No. Okay. What happens next?
She sits down. She's in lingerie. We smoke and talk for like 15 minutes about different stuff. And then she's like, do you want to dance with me? And he was like, before y'all dance, I want to create a scene. So
distributing.
He was like, told her to stand
distribution
at the edge of the balcony. He was
right,
like,
there go another distribution.
He told her he want her to print out.
Right, because she smoked and all of that. They had everything laid out. They smoked. Y'all better stop smoking everybody stuff.
I'm walking in the bar and we're just meeting. And she's like, okay. And she's like, hey, how you doing? Just starts to play it, you know? So I play along with her. And we do that for like 3 minutes. And I was like, can we just go inside and I can dance for you? And she's like, yeah, sure. So we walk inside and she's put towels like on the floor.
I'm trying to see if he's going to say something different.
Floor, like a bunch of white towels. I'm like, but there was like 2 bottles of baby oil sitting next to it. So he tells her where to sit, and I start dancing for her. While I'm dancing for her, he's kind of instructing her, like, I want you to sit here, telling her to pour baby oil on herself. When I took my shirt off, tell her to put baby oil on me, and did that for like 10 minutes. And then I stopped dancing for her, and he was like, can you take her pants off? She was like, I got some underwear I want you to wear. Like, she had the specific underwear she wanted me to wear. And she pulled them on. I'm like, okay. She like, can you go put them on? So I go put the underwear on, come back. I start dancing for her. And as I'm dancing for her, he's sitting to the side, and I see he pulls a phone out and starts to record me dancing. And I'm like, no, don't record me. So he's like, all right, cool. He puts the phone down. But there's also a laptop sitting next to him, and it's like open towards me. So I go over there, and then I close the laptop, and then I go back and I start dancing for her.
Okay, but didn't Diddy have a conversation with you ahead of time that says that he's into porn and he wants to create his own porn movies in front of him, basically?
Yeah, that was the conversation before he set up the scene and said, like, I'm walking in from the bar.
Okay. What did you think when he kind of described this whole, real life porno?
I was wondering, because I told him I was in film school and like my purpose for being in film school, so I kind of feel like he was just segueing that. And he was saying he's at a point in his life where he likes to create his own porn. And he has a beautiful girl in here, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I was like, all right, cool,
Okay.
They didn't go off into the selling.
What is he doing as you guys are kind of doing all this foreplay?
He's just sitting there watching.
Okay, he's fully clothed?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when you guys get more and more sexual?
She starts to give me oral there, and then she was like, do you want to go in the room? So we go in the room. And he actually takes his shirt off, so he's sitting in the corner while we're on the bed.
Why he take his shirt off? Oh, yeah, because he wanted his
doing the baby oil thing, and I'm like, it's like a lot. It's kind of too much, you know what I'm saying? I start wiping myself off with the towel. She was like, I like baby oil. I got a thing for baby oil. And I'm like, all right, but it's a lot. Like, it's almost overwhelming by the baby oil. You know what I'm saying?
Only 2 bottles, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I see at this point is only 2 bottles.
Okay. Probably more in the back. Now, did you get any sort of gay vibes from Diddy, though?
I didn't, but just him wanting to watch that, you never know. But at the same time, how he gave the explanation of creating his own porn,
Okay. Were you uncomfortable with the man right there while you're trying to, do your thing with the female?
No, he kind of kept his distance, and as we had that conversation before, as we were sitting outside, she asked me, she was like, are you comfortable doing the threesome, or would you be open to? And I was like, I never did it, and I'm not comfortable doing it. And so I kind of like put that out there before we even started,
Okay, so Diddy actually wanted to do an actual threesome with you and Jane Doe as opposed to just watching, but you said, no, I'm good.
She asked.
Yeah, I said that, Lulu.
He was okay with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She wouldn't just spring it on him.
Yeah.
I said that, Lulu, and that's why he had that laptop up and the phone. He probably was streaming it live for money. Yep, I said that. Yep. Because that's why he had his phone, and he said no. And at that point, he saw the laptop facing him, and he closed it. Streaming it live. And didn't nobody know it. And when that girl was acting a fool about people watching her, if y'all remember, one of those guys, was it Jonathan, who was blackmailing whoever she was talking to when she was cussing them out, when she found out that was Jonathan Gotti. But he said, one of them male hookers said that Diddy accidentally recorded it on their phone instead of his phone. Y'all remember that? That's how that recording got out. So they say. And somebody said they seen it. And she was acting a fool, threatening. Oh, here I go, excuse me. Yeah, it's because Diddy was recording it on the phone and accidentally recorded it on the male worker's phone instead of his own. Yeah, so he was recording. They just didn't know it. Yep, I am absolutely sure he was getting paid. Let me get to this other one and the guy, one of the guys, the new guys that's suing them, he said, Howard, what did I see? He talked about the small penis too. Howard, why is everybody using the word debauchery all of a sudden? Oh, he has a book. He has a book too. Cassie, victim or co-conspirator. She's both. She's absolutely both. Cassie is a victim and a co-conspirator that turned a cooperating witness. Says in which he shares some of the rap mogul's biggest or maybe smallest secrets of the moment. The first time I said, oh my God, Cassie is telling the truth. He has a small penis. He put that in the book. It says the first time I said, oh my God, Cassie is telling the truth. He has a small penis, Howard reveals. And then it kind of made sense why he was calling me to service her. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So his ego is big, but his penis is small. Is that what they're trying to tell us? Diddy threatened her horribly. Okay, hold on. Diddy threatened her horribly. He was incredibly angry and arrogant. Why? Oh, because he was well endowed. Okay. He said his ego was huge, especially if she looked like she was enjoying herself a bit too much. Oh, wow. Wow. That jealousy could often end with Combs turning physically aggressive against his girlfriend. He might try to have sex with her after me to make it seem like he could compete with me, but he couldn't. So he would hit her for that. Are you hearing that? Could y'all hear me read this? Oh, that's not him. It's not him. Oh, it's not him. So let me get it off of here. So it won't look like I'm talking about him. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, let me find. Oh my God. Oh my God. He said that jealousy could often end with Combs turning physically aggressive. Let me take this off so y'all can see. Oh my goodness. Boy, so you mad. So is that why you mad at God? Because you got an addiction, but you don't have the pipe to what? I'm trying to make sure I don't show the wrong picture. This part up here, Howard claims Combs also tried to get him to have y'all see that in blue? Y'all see the blue up here? Howard claims Combs also tried to get him to have but does not think that makes him gay. Somewhere I read it said he told him to look at that as if that's a ussy. He kept trying to move, kept positioning me, right, thinking, tried to manipulate me into thinking his anus was a vagina. Can y'all believe that? Let me find, can y'all believe that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Can I make this bigger? Oh. You speechless. But he's saying he got her pregnant and she aborted. This was 3 days ago. They popped out right around the time he thought he was going home. I told y'all they was waiting to see what was going to happen They put all of those lawsuits on hold to see what was going to happen with the Fed case. And then they finna bum rush her. But the Feds got another case coming. Miami has not been presented. Folk can think that the Feds ain't coming back if they want to. They in for a rude awakening. There go one. It's the exclusive Sean Diddy Combs. Oh, wait a minute. Sean Diddy Combs. XXX worker claims rapper got him to heat up he said heat up ex-girlfriend Cassie as freak off party. Animal had tiny manhood. That's the title of it. Something's wrong with my phone. Can y'all hear me? That was his character. He more than likely target rich men with his issues. Who targeted rich men? They purchased his stream. Oh, now these people, all these people went through the Cowboys and Angels. They didn't contact Diddy and them. Diddy and them contacted them. They used those websites. I don't know why you think they targeted rich men. Diddy and Cassie went through basic back alley gutter porn sites, websites, dating apps. No. Lulu. These men didn't pursue Diddy and Cassie. They were pursued. Don't do that. Don't do that. And what I'm finding is that other XXX worker Jules, I wouldn't be surprised if Jules didn't have some ownership in Cowboys and Angels, him and his wife. Because when they keep saying their homeboy turned them on and told them who it was, they all working together. Clayton Howard. And then there is another one. There is another one other than Clayton. Hold on. Comes another lawsuit. So it sounds like to me that the XXX workers, the male hookers, which, to be fair and honest, they were hired for stripping, and once they made it there, they were converted, coerced, however manipulated, as old boy said, into being a male prostitute. They always use their Cowboys and Angels. So it's as if they were working with them. They went in as strippers, dancers, and came out hookers. And because of that, they may be suing. Now that would be a total different angle of a lawsuit, because they definitely were hired as dancers, entertainers, and got there and went into him directing them into doing on. And this time they are both being sued. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. Ooh wee. And there will be no way out of this one, y'all. There will be no way out of this one. If the male hookers that he has just been convicted of turn around and bring a suit, because that's what he's, one, been convicted of, and two, they were hired as dancers for entertainment for $2 grand. When they get there, they are coerced into doing sexual acts and porn. And now he not even hiding his face anymore. He's opening the door as Diddy. Do you know who I am? Oh, wow. There's no way out of this. And which would make sense as to why all of a sudden they popping out, and why is Vlad of all people interviewing them. Who? Wait a minute. Hold on. Diddy's former personal chef, who claims to have witnessed alleged Cassie abuse, wrote letter to the judge. Oh, the chef wrote a letter too? The chef wrote a letter too? All of these people whose names popped up, hi Sylvia, who were brought up, mentioned, used in this trial, are all, feel like all of their lives are in danger. I fear for my safety. Hope he gets the full 20 years. Oh my God. So now all of these females are sending letters to the judge about the abuse that the defense has already said. Yeah, we would give you that. He is abusive. He's violent. DB is violence. He's violent. He don't like taking no for an answer. Oh, wow. They coming out, baby. They coming out. They finna hit him. Oh, what you say, girl? Hold on. Let me hear you. Oh, Lord. I went to sleep and missed all of this.
Minor victims to Sean Combs' physical assault while I was employed by him. As someone who was a witness to the abuse towards Cassandra Ventura Vine during my time of working for Sean Combs, I would just like to say that this is a grave miscarriage of justice. And I would like to also address that last year on March 20th, I was contacted by the federal government. They showed up at my door with badges. I refused to speak to them because I was, as one of the actual...
Oh, girl, don't stop. Oh, hold on.
Minor victims
to
Sean Combs' physical assault.
Hold on, y'all, because I'm just not seeing this. And I need to make sure I see. How can I send this to? Let me make sure, just in case it disappears. Hold on. Oh my goodness. They setting it up. If y'all don't see it, they setting it up. They finna come get. They finna hit him again. They finna hit him again.
Was terrified, so I was served with a grand jury subpoena.
Why did they
that day before they left my home in Atlanta, Georgia? I confided in 3 different people about that.
What does... See, how did I know something was going to happen? Didn't I just say that? Let me go over here. Didn't I just say something was going to happen? But my system is tripping anyway. My system, it may have just rebooted itself because my system, yeah, now I'm getting messages. Hold on. Oh, just when it was getting good. Now why, see, so why didn't they use her? If she was subpoenaed. Even Rico said he was subpoenaed. God, the blue. I'll be right back, y'all. Something's going on with my computer.